Hi, everyone, and welcome back to First Principles. What you're going to listen to is part two of my conversation with Ankit Nagori. If you missed part one, go back and start there. The first part was really about his Flipkart years and what it took to build Curefoods from the ground up. This half is where Ankit gets personal. We talk food, we talk brands, and we talk about the kind of founder he actually is. To listen to full episodes without the wait, or to just keep up with First Principles, subscribe to the Ken or via Apple Podcasts. Let's get into it. I also want to ask you about Cake Zone.
Yes.
And I've always sort of wondered how is there so much of density of cake stores, including
Yes.
Cake Zone, of
Yes.
course, in Bangalore. What is the market? How many people are buying cakes and
So,
pastries
so
every
Cake
day?
Zone
What is the
in Bangalore alone has 40 locations.
Hmm.
And if I go with the data I have from Swiggy and Zomato, they're almost, if I only talk about branded chains, 600 branded cake locations doing almost 60 cakes a day. That's the total number of branded cakes that are sold in Bangalore every day. 3,600 cakes, 36,000 cakes. So that's how big the market is. But
So what
also,
is it? Largely like celebratory.
for Cake Zone, our frequency of customers with whatever we can correlate to different customer ID, etc., everything put together is almost 8 times a year. So I can almost imagine like 3 birthdays, 1 anniversary, 2 success parties. A lot of the orders are also on Fridays from the office zip codes because admin
Office
always
party.
orders. So I would say that makes sense. Almost like 36,000. So a population of 10 million. And if 36,000 is branded, I would say same number is unbranded. So 75,000 cakes a day for a population. So what has happened is categories become very branded because people, while there's also a lot of mom and pop store, but every city has its top baker and multiple national bakers now. Of course, Theo Brahma is the biggest. And then there's Bakingo, there's Cake Zone, and then there's Monjani's in the west and Flurries in the east. So a lot of branded players are there.
Got it. I want to go back to something else.
Yes.
Your offline stores. Now I
Yes.
stay off Sarjapur Road.
Yes.
I've seen on Sarjapur Road I've seen Sharif Bhai,
Yes.
I've seen Nomad
Yes.
Pizza, etc. What was your thesis? I'm assuming your thesis while opening these
Yes.
was people are returning to the real world.
Yes.
And since we are a food brand, it doesn't matter whether the food is coming from a kitchen or they
Absolutely.
meet us on the
Yes.
street. How has that bet been working out?
So that was the thesis, and that continues to be thesis that the given that we are a brand which now serves 2 million meals a month, over 2 million meals a month, we need to mirror the real world. Real world means the market or industry. Industry is 60% offline and 40% online. We right now are at 70-30, 70% online, 30% offline. We think that many years later it'll be 50-50. So we have to keep going towards that. And market by then will be 50-50, 60-40 in favor of offline right now, it'll be 50-50. So that is the belief, that is the long-term thinking. It has to mirror the market. Every industry eventually, every large player in the industry has to be exactly the same metrics as market. Now with that, we picked out 3-4 brands, and it was a bit of a explore exploit kind of a thing. Sharif Bhai, because the original
Is the biryani
is a
brand.
biryani brand, very social, very community driven kind of a product. So we said we will do large restaurants there.
And by the way, just for context,
Yes.
biryani is the
Number one product on Swiggy Zomato.
on Swiggy Zomato. So
Yes.
Indians love biryani.
Indian
That's the
loves
context.
biryani, more so the southern Indian. In North India, that is more chole bhature and more of those. So North Indian meals as a catch-all is the largest category in North India. And in South India, biryani and masala dosa are the top two SKUs. Because larger TAM, more repeatability. Because the biryani is eaten not as a occasion. It is like twice a week meal. That's how it is. In offices, I see people order a large 1 kg pack from Meghna Biryani, which seems to be Bangalore's favorite, and 3 of them split it. So that's a very, and somehow it's a regular food, like very frequent, very frequent. So So biryani, we took the large restaurant format. For Eat Fit, we said we'll do kiosks and smaller takeaways where you can choose your grain and choose your gravy and choose your protein. And frozen bottle was kiosks, which is milkshake. And the fourth was Nomad, which was mid-sized restaurants. I would say frozen bottle has worked very well because the locations that we chose were uh, no real location. What I mean is, in a mall, we'll say give us some place. So you don't have a real rent in mind. So the mall guy does not say that this is for 1 lakh or this is for 2 lakhs. We start with revenue share, we find a way to make it work, etc. It's a milkshake brand. We are following the same strategy in Krispy Kreme now, where we go to a mall and sometimes we say, give us the space below the escalator, because that space no one else
Right.
will
I've
take.
seen that increasingly in many malls
Yes.
where you sort of put up the infrastructure around an open area and that becomes like a retail area.
And that's amazing because the leasing manager, maybe it'll change soon, but the leasing manager does not have like a real ROI on that mind.
Or no earlier benchmarks
No earlier
on the earlier
benchmarks.
tenant was paying so much.
So frozen bottle worked well. Nomad has worked very, very well at the offline locations in tier 2 cities. Tier
Because I
1
think the one on Sarjapur Road is no longer
is no
there.
longer there. That was a lease problem, many challenges, but the one in Zanaga is still there. So so it's worked very, very well in Goa, Ahmedabad, Chandigarh, Indore, cities like these. But somehow it's a great online brand. Nomad, this last year we did 75 crores. For a setting context, it's a 800 rupee, 900 rupee pizza. So TAM is
I've ordered from
small,
them.
and we know it's a small TAM. It's highly profitable. But on offline, we did not find the, I would say, fit. Like people should have a reason to come out to a pizzeria. It was, we were not able to figure it. And I don't have an answer why we did not, but I am telling very transparently that Nomad in larger cities offline we didn't find a fit. In smaller cities we found a fit. So Nomad continues to be a very big cloud kitchen brand in top cities and continue to do a lot of innovation on pizza. We're launching a high protein pizza in partnership with Wellbeing Nutrition now.
That is the meta trend right now. I mean, are
Yes.
you seeing that across all food? Because literally putting protein into every, like, protein water, protein cakes, protein
Yeah.
pizza, that is, I
See,
mean, and
Rohinga,
it's a serious
interesting.
question
It's
as
a
well.
serious question, and I'll give you a serious answer. First of all, protein was always there in most of the food. So there's two things that have happened.
But in negligible quantities.
Yeah. So no, I'll give you an example. Right now, I saw that there is a protein bread slice, and it has some 1.5 2 gram proteins per slice. A lot of,
Which is not bad
yeah,
for
a
a
lot of
slice of bread.
proteins could have been, a lot of other breads in the future past also could have had, because the seed and nut bread, etc., would have 1 gram. But now, because you also have to market it, you increase the thing. You add some soy, you add some stuff like that. So protein is a real trend in top 20 cities. Like I would say till Indore, or like city number 16, 17, it's a real trend. People,
What's driving it? Social media? Awareness?
social media awareness, and also I think a lot of it is being peddled by nutritionists. I think there's some fear psychosis being done there, especially for vegetarians. Right? I think there's a lot of fear psychosis for I'm a vegetarian, but I eat eggs, so it's easy for
I
me.
recently turned vegetarian about a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
but
tough to be
yeah.
a vegetarian and seeking protein. But if you do eggs, then it's good. But still, only 6 grams per egg, etc. So I think a lot of it is social media. A lot of it is new brands coming to India and some fear psychosis. But India is a protein deficit country, and it had to improve sometime. It's happening now.
A lot of it is also supply, because now you see from Amul to a bunch of folks
Yeah.
essentially like, pumping up the supply as well. Right?
Amul, I think, has a very innovative range and very low cost range. If they can, but I think supply has been a big challenge. Each time you go to their website, it's out of stock. If they improve the supply, it'll do India a very, very big advantage, because that will make it very widely available. But I have also seen Nandini now having a protein milk, and Country Delight, they're in partnership with HRX Ritik. That's why I know of that, having high protein milk. So protein is a real deal right now, and people are pushing it.
Maybe
People are seeking
that's
it.
the fit meal that Indians finally take to.
Yeah,
and
it will be
not the original
plus
eat
10
feet
gram
ones,
plus
yeah.
10 gram protein. That's what I'm saying. So anything, if you can give 10, in fact, a friend of mine, was working with McDonald's, my ex-colleague from Flipkart, Abhijit, and he's developed a 10-gram protein slice. Like how on a McBurger you can add a cheese slice, you can add a 10-gram protein slice. It's a soy product. It comes in slice. If you say please add, and 20 rupees. So of course some people may do it, but I feel that 30-40 rupee add-on of protein, I also have other predictions. Gut and fiber will be the other thing which will do well. Where Indians are also fiber, like most humans are
True.
consuming lesser fiber than they should, and gut, given the brain gut axis and all the kind of issues that we have, will be a real issue. In fact, today if I ask, I generally chat a lot about health and everything. If I ask 10 colleagues or friends of mine, what is the biggest stress they feel, 7 out of them is gut right now. It's unbelievable what has happened in the last
Again,
four
that's
five
also
years.
sort of like a psychosis, right? We really don't
Yes.
have that much of a gut crisis. It
Yes.
also, a lot of that is
But it
also
also
created.
but the thing is, with gut, the psychosis can actually cause the symptoms. That's the thing. That's the
Self-fulfilling
yes. With
prophecies.
gut, it is self-fulfilling, right? So we've gotten into that, and I feel a lot of it is post-pandemic. I'm not going a correlation there, but I'm just stating a fact that post-pandemic, I've seen more people talking about gut than earlier, and hence having high fiber or more gut-friendly products, which are just Indian food, like a congee is that, right? So if we can figure out a way to do that, that will also do well. So protein. So yeah, coming back to Nomad, we continue to do well. So Nomad offline did not work because we don't think we found a fit in the larger cities. Online it does very well. Smaller cities does very well. Sharif Bhai is our biggest success in offline. It's just a typical quintessential biryani place where high churn, people come in fours, five, six, they order. Uh, 40-30 in the ratio of uh, lunch and dinner, and another 30% is online ordering. That's how a typical store works for Sharif Bhai. And 40-30 because more communities, a lot of office people with lanyards. You see people, a lot of people just coming together and eating for a quick meal. It's a 30-minute meal. People come, order a big pot of biryani, eat, and they leave. So Sharif Bhai has done well. Eat Fit didn't do well. Frozen Bottle has done well. And because Frozen Bottle was a good model, we picked Krispy Kreme. And it's now double the size of Frozen Bottle because it came with development plan schedule, because if you're acquiring rights to an Indian to international brand, you have to fulfill your goals of expansion. Now Krispy Kreme is in 100 locations, and for 4 cities we're adding Pune, Chandigarh, and Jaipur in next couple
So
of
this
months.
this is interesting
Yes.
dichotomy that I see here, that you and Mukesh started Cult and then Eat Fit with the very, like,
Yeah.
in some senses it was an inside out vision, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
we believe that this is important and we'll build it. And once you split Eat Fit out and it became Cure
Yeah.
Foods and you went into the market and you realize that, look, Indians aren't really,
Yeah.
like, we may say that we want to eat healthy but we don't. And
Yes.
then, Frozen Bottle works, and now let's say Krispy Kreme works, etc. So do you ever feel like there is this, like, obviously you're going where the market and the
Yeah.
customers are leading you,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there is also a certain amount of, influence and curation that you do. You're not being blindly led.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile these two in your own head? Because I mean, I'm sure Cure Foods isn't just, we'll just go where the market takes us. We have no
Yes.
point of view of our own. What is the difference between what is the market's demand and what is your point of view?
See, I think market will give me three, four axes to think about. One is the offline online thing, which I just spoke of, that we want to be 50-50 in future between biryani, desserts, dessert parlors, if I can use that word still, and
That
biryani
covers
restaurants.
shakes and desserts,
Yeah, yeah.
everything.
So all of that, we would love to be at 50%. Biryani is a very clear product solve or problem solve, and desert parlor, economical locations and quick takeaways. So that is sorted. Now coming to the other consumer problem, they again 28 meal slots. They need healthy lunches, healthy breakfast, community eating during the weekends and nights, and also late night ordering of pizza. In all of this, we've not spoken about the fact that we are also one of the very large pizza players in the country. Between Olio Pizza, which is almost a 160 crore brand, and Nomad, which is an 80 crore brand, we are 250 crores in revenue. The number one is so far ahead that the number 6, 7 has no relevance. But if you remove Domino's, then everyone is in the 1,000 to 300 crore range. So 1,000 is Pizza Hut declining at the speed of light, right? And it's degrowing at the speed of light. And then, of course, there is Lapino's. Then there are all our cloud kitchen, which is Rebel's brand called Oven Story, Mojo Pizza by Boxset, and us. So we are all in 300-400 crore range. So we are all top 10 brands in India already. And if you discount Domino's, which you can't, then we are like almost 20% of the market or 15% of the market. So pizza continues to be a very large part of the segment. So we know that.
And this is true across South and North
Yeah.
India.
So
It's a universal Indian
one
food.
interesting point: if it's an Indian food, then it will have regional preferences. If it's a brown chocolate cake or a margarita pizza, it will work exactly the same in Guwahati, Ahmedabad, Delhi, and Bangalore. So, which is why we love to do international cuisines also, and international dessert more so.
Because you're taking less geographical risks.
Yes, and it's cookie cutter. You can do a single ad, pan India, etc., etc. So people will eat pizzas, people will eat biryanis, and late night they'll order dessert. So we are actually going with the ordering preferences because we've set up a kitchen. We need that kitchen to operate at a 80% efficiency, which means 200 meals a day. And no single cuisine or brand can ever give you 200 cuisines meals a day unless it's Domino's or KFC. These are only two brands which is delivering, or McDonald's to some level, which is giving 200 orders per brand per location. That's a very, very tough number to get to. So uh, so now that is the customer access. Now thinking about moving from a health thing, which is also a personal belief, to doing desserts. I think how I reconcile this is, Rohan, that even today with Eat Fit and Millet Express, we are a 200 crore health food business, bigger than anyone else. So for people who are looking to eat healthy, we are still a destination and will continue to be one. And that's how I reconcile it, that I will make my best effort to give best possible health food to these people, and in future it can be in form of packaged food as well or nutraceuticals as well, but I'll continue doing that. And if the consumer, and if the brands and categories which are not healthy allowing us to continue doing a good job here, I'm happy to do that. So, and which is why when we, so the purpose was at Cult was to make health easy. Of course it's so, which is why we could have never done all of this. And the fact that we moved out, uh, while at Cult, I know Mukesh and I would have never done this. And now, given that we've moved out and we have started a new company where the purpose was to make honest food that customers love, it gave us flexibility to do more categories. But also, we recognize that honest food, etc., has its own subjective meaning. And I generally believe that a purpose is very important to keep people together. They should they should answer more questions than anything else. People should do. If someone is asking, should I do a beer brand, then I don't think make honest food that customers love will allow. So, which is why mid last year, we have redefined our next 10-year purpose to create iconic food brands. That's what we will stand for. It makes our decision making easy. It resolves our conflicts better, and knows that, and makes us understand that yes, we can do a beer brand in future if we think that's a good opportunity.
Got it. Like this is useful because when you say the vision for the next 10 years is make iconic food brands. I want to
Yes.
go back to something that you said earlier when you were at Flipkart
Yes.
and you said this fairly audacious goal of $1 billion,
Yes.
right? And you said when you mentioned that $1 billion that it was impossible to imagine.
Yeah.
And yet with the benefit of hindsight, it was actually achieved
Yes.
ahead of time. Now, when you set these really ambitious goals, there is this fine line that you're walking between. If it's unbelievable,
Yeah.
people will not accept it.
Yes.
If it's too timid, people will think we
Yeah,
can achieve
you
this.
won't get the talent density. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So what is that right now for, like, I mean, or really, I mean, I'm not even asking you what is it for Curefoods, because you sort of
Yes.
my question is, what's that balance for you as a founder and
I
entrepreneur?
think in true OKR style, it should be 70% achievable, 80% achievable. Otherwise, it's very, very
Does
difficult.
Curefoods run on OKRs?
We have our own version of OKRs.
Is this the X to 10x
Uh,
connection
so
somehow?
inspired
I'm
by,
just trying to
given
guess
given
because
that
the Bini
Saiki and Neeraj
connection.
are friends very close.
Yes.
Neeraj used to work with us. He was the first GM of Eat Fit in Cult days. So inspired by a lot of those people, but I also have my own point of view on how OKR should be run, etc. But yeah, to answer your question on vision, right now I'll give you an example of what iconic. If you look at the detailing of what that means, we believe that we need to have 10 brands with 500 crore revenue. Right now, India has only 20 brands with 500, 15 to 18 brands with 500 crore revenue. None of our brands are 500 crore, right? None of our brands are 200 right now. And I feel that if we are able to get 10 brands with 500 crore revenue, we will be a crazy company. Like it'll be a Unilever of foods.
Okay, great. Unilever of foods, Thrasio of foods, etc.
No, Thrasio, no, but Unilever,
No,
yes.
I'm
Yes.
connecting. I'm
Yes.
drawing the
Yes.
connections because the focus on all of these is on brands. And I
Yes.
noticed you also said our goal is to build iconic food brands.
Yes.
And I want to kind of situate that in the context in which actually the consumer purchases and
Yes.
deliveries are taking place, which is largely through aggregator platforms.
Yes.
Where there are literally, like you said, in cakes alone, there are what, 600,
600 locations in
600
Bangalore. So I would say
locations,
almost 12, 13 brands.
right?
Large
And that's
brands.
just in Bangalore.
Just
If you
Bangalore.
zoom out,
Yeah,
there's much more.
100 good quality cake brands in India.
So my question really is, if platforms and aggregators are sort of controlling the demand side and the visibility side, and we know enough now that there is, you got to pay money, you got to, like, have
They are having
ratings,
all the
of
platform
that.
advantages.
They have all the platform advantages, right? And then you have, on the other side, you have this dozens and hundreds of brands, which, if I'm completely being honest, if someone doesn't know of, let's say hypothetically, they don't know of Cake Zone,
100%.
and you tell them, here are 5, pick one, they're all brands to them.
Yes.
So my question really is, what is the power of a brand in a food setup? What makes people come back to brands? What makes a brand iconic enough?
Yes.
That because the ultimate power of a brand is that people say, I want that thing.
Yes.
Like, if you don't just say, I want to eat biryani.
Yes.
You say, I want to
Meghna
eat
biryani.
Meghna biryani, or
biryani,
Sharif biryani.
It is the most popular biryani in
Or
Bangalore.
Domino's.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
no matter what I do, my
Yes.
16-year-old son will
Yes.
just, like, there is this default to Domino's.
100%.
Right? Like, in spite of any other pizza he may have. So what is the measure? What is the vision? What is the ambition for you of an iconic brand?
Great question. Subjective answer. I would say, from an output point of view, we in the company know which is a better.
That's 500 crores.
Yeah, that is 500 crore. But from output for business, what does that do for us? What does that 500 crore of a good brand does for us? It gives us lower marketing spend, higher repeat, better rating, and hence better margin. Okay, so I'll tell you, these are all output metrics. 500 crores at 20% EBITDA versus 500 crores at 8% EBITDA. So if a brand is good, which is where customers love the brand, the food has to be extraordinary. Like, the characteristic is very simple, Rohin, that the food has to be extraordinary. People should come for it very, very frequently. They should be searching the name in the search bar. Instead of saying biryani, they should be saying Meghna biryani, and not going through the offer funnel of buy one get one, which is there on Zomato and Swiggy. And that means that you're not discounting it to 50%. So these are the attributes. How we build it and how it gets discovered during the Swiggy Zomato journey now, given that at best 60% of 40% of our revenue will be offline, which also will be for certain brands. It's not that Cake Zone ka bhi 40% will be offline. Cake Zone will probably be online only. Then the characteristics is that basically that people just love a particular flavor or a particular design of Cake Zone and coming back for that. For that, you'll have to do off-platform marketing as well. You'll have to build narratives and consumer love through social media, through offline experiences. While we're not an offline food brand, we can set an identity that you will find us in all music concerts. Then you will discover. So Olio is becoming that now. Olio is now a brand you'll find in most music concerts which Book My Show.
So there is a
run.
very concerted effort to build a brand
Yes.
outside of the place
That's the
where
thing.
people order from.
Yes. So brand will be created offline, and when people are browsing, either they will say, "Ha ha, ye suna hai," and I will click on that, or they will search the name for Krispy Kreme because it's such a unique category. 2 donut brands in India, one is not doing well. They will enter the category name called the brand name called Krispy Kreme. It happens for Krispy Kreme. It happens for Sharif Bhai because there's one TG which likes the Sharif Bhai biryani, and that TG clay we are the number one brand. Then it happens for Nomad. Nomad is clear example, and it happens for frozen bottle. In all these categories, these are slightly smaller categories. Not the Sharif Bhai also the Zirak Samba rice category is not the basmati rice. So these 4 brands have found a niche. Now we have to expand the niche, expand the audience. EatFit is a cookie cutter. Like in health, we will be very likely that in the first browse itself you'll find us. Uh, Cake Zone is a very tough category. There we are playing on SEO terms. Oh, Cake Zone is an innovation. We supply only 3 sponges to our dark kitchens, and the people there can convert them into 300 different designs. 100 designs time 3 flavors. So what we play in Cake Zone is just you will find any combination, butterscotch and vanilla. Like you search, so people, it's a long tail internet play. But we also want to build a brand there because we've seen the power of Theobrahma. While it's an offline first brand, but 70% of the sales of Theobrahma is now through Swiggy and Zomato. And we know that their cost per click is much lesser. Their commission, Swiggy and Zomato also give you commission rebates if your metrics are better, etc. So brand will have to be built offline for sure.
And to kind of close out this conversation before we move on to you, Um, does it not concern you that so much of you said earlier that you used to maintain your own app
Yeah,
and
yeah.
take orders, but you said
Yes.
it was not
Yes.
worth this thing. So now, does it not, like, is that not one of the things that I'm sure it is,
Yeah.
that like so much of your, and this goes back to Thrasio as well. The original Thrasio model was forget everything else, we'll just invest all in on Amazon
Yeah.
because that's where the customers are.
Yeah.
That's not really worked out well for a lot of businesses that build their businesses on Amazon. And the
Yeah. Yeah.
critique there used to be that, look, that's because there's only one strong player in the US, which is
Yes.
Amazon. Here we have Swiggy and Zomato, or we have
Yes.
like your multiple. But to come back to that question, this dependence on aggregator platforms, how do you kind
It
of think about
is.
it over the long term?
It is one of the top three risks. The top three risks for me, Rohan, is one is constant food inflation risk is there. Second is our quality going down purely because we stop being paranoid. It's a very, very tough business. There is no scalability in this. Every store is its own unit, so they have to follow the same 30 things every single day. It's not that there is one factory and I will have TQM principles and everything will fall into place, right?
Hmm.
So, and then third is your Swiggy, Zomato losing interest in this category or becoming too aggressive with their commissions. Both are
Hmm.
very probable, right? Losing interest purely because like Blinkit is now TAM will be 20x, right?
Hmm.
And but I think that for every fear you also have to be rational. I feel them losing interest in this category, no, because no one will leave a business with such a large TAM. Like at the end of the day, it's still a 30 million people TAM. People ordering food every day in day out. So that's one. Commission increase, very, very probable. But at some point in time, the elasticity will break and restaurants will start logging off.
Hmm.
I think we are getting to that point, and I know,
Sort of peak.
yeah, and I
Hmm.
know both Swiggy and Zomato so well, and they're amazing people, and what they've built is amazing. They're not irrational, and they're not in this for short term now. They're listed companies, so I don't think they will ever get to a point where it starts hurting their overall opportunity size itself. So it's a, I put it, it's a daily stress, not a long term stress. So every day my team debates and haggles like how they should, but in the long term our teams are super aligned. Like my conversation with Rohit at Swiggy, who's a CEO, or anyone else at Zomato is always very, very clear on what the opportunity size is, and they support businesses like us
Hmm.
in building new categories, new cities, new brands, new verticals. The conversation always is that in Indore there is no gourmet burger brand. You should go build it. So they would love to work with us. They have their own pressures. We have our own pressures, but that's for the L-2 teams to fight out every day. So
All right. Okay, let me switch to you. I think you've talked a lot across your career about, let's say, a 0 to 1 journey or a 1 to 10
yeah.
journey, etc., and all that. How would you describe what's the difference in your own career? Was Flipkart the 0 to 1 journey in the early
Yeah,
years,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think Flipkart, I had couple of 0 to 1 journeys. One was the category expansion itself, which uh,
going from books to
books
others?
to fashion to many other categories. So that was a 0 to 1 journey. Each time you have to start as though you know nothing. You have to be like a sponge, ask idiotic questions and everything, and then build out a thesis and build out a business. And the next was, of course, the marketplace, where Flipkart said we'll open up the platform for it's 75% of their transactions now. Marketplace. And when I left, it
You'd
was
started the
I
marketplace,
was the
yeah.
founder of the Flipkart marketplace, if I can say that. And within Flipkart, we were able to create an entrepreneurial setup in the marketplace team. So it was a separate office, separate floor. The number of startups which have come out of the Flipkart marketplace teams, Rohin, you will astound. All the Grow founders are from the Flipkart marketplace team. The Slice is
You're
Flipkart.
an investor in Grow, if I'm not
I'm
mistaken,
I'm
as
a
well.
board member in Grow, so investor in board member in Grow. The Slice founder was a Flipkart marketplace guy. Ultra Human was Flipkart marketplace. So like the number of
What
um,
was that? What, like, if I could ask you to retrofit an explanation
yes,
as to why there were so many of these founders who came from the Flipkart marketplace team,
yes.
what was it? Is
We
it that they discovered the potential of a category?
they discovered what so ingredients point of view, it was because it was a true entrepreneurial ground. We a company of a size of Flipkart in 2014 says we will do marketplace. which means we're already a $2 billion, $3 billion revenue company. And those much traffic is there. And now suddenly we can do anything, like add an electronics guy, fashion guy, and the number of parallel initiatives. Like everyone was an entrepreneur. Like every day there was a regulatory overhang also, which we had to solve for, but also the opportunity. Like today, Flipkart 75-80% transactions are marketplace. So
Hmm.
I realized of that scale. So opportunity was so big. So people just took that playground and built. And also it showed them that what internet in India has become. Like I'm telling you, it was crazy. Like to see what people on ground were doing and what customers want. Like every day we had so many challenges because people in Surat would be creating fake products and still selling, and then we have to go cut them. We have to build a very strong trust and safety team. But it also showed the entrepreneurial spirit on the ground. Like Surat entrepreneurs are like old school entrepreneurs, but for them to copy, I remember one guy coming and telling me that, you know what, you should tie up, Flipkart should tie up with Kyuki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. This is a guy sitting in Surat, very serious. And I like the idea. He's like, what I will do is, as soon as the episode airs, I will make those saris. You can say buy on Flipkart. He was confident of copying those designs in 1 hour. So I'm saying that was 12 years back, and now we know what India has become now. Many of these are Shark Tank ideas and everything. So all these people saw what internet can do, because numbers were 10,000 orders, 1 lakh orders, 2 lakh orders
Hmm.
for anything and everything. Like one T-shirt designed by some person is selling 10,000, 20,000. So opportunity sizing was clear, and the entrepreneurial spirit was there. So that was the 0 to 1 journey. So two 0 to 1 journeys, and in marketplace probably 1 to 3, and in categories 1 to 5. I think
Hmm.
the team post Walmart has taken it from 5 to 10. I say 5 to 10 will happen only when you achieve true margin potential of each category. That's the
Got
5
it.
to 10 journey for me. So right now I would say I'm at 7 in Cure
At
Foods,
Curefoods?
because we 5 or 6 out of 8 brands are profitable. 3 of them are at double-digit EBITDA. Overall, we're still negative EBITDA, but we will turn soon because we continue to invest a lot in offline stores, etc. But I would say that when the entire business is at a benchmark EBITDA of the industry, which is double-digit, then we will be at a 10. So I
And
think, yeah,
going public and listing on the stock markets, does that move up that number? And
yes.
what does it move up to?
Yeah, see, given the current market conditions, public markets also also want more profitability, but all the listed players ka average EBITDA would be 13-14% right now. So that's
No,
the
no, my
potential.
question was really like if and when, I mean, you
Yeah.
will go
Yes.
public, like, do you internally reset that? You said that right now you're on a 7.
Oh,
Does
will
that get
it'll be
reset to an
it'll
8 or a
be
9 or a
no. I
10?
would say it will be reset to 5, because then you have to see what a public company's
So
10
it's a new
is.
learning all over again.
100%. I keep telling my team that as and when we go public, it'll be a new team. New, like we all of us are new. We'll be founders of a public company. We are
Hmm.
starting from scratch as a public company, and the things we have to do, the things we have to learn.
What is that like? I mean,
Just the discipline of not getting carried away by new, like, it also curtails your entrepreneurial spirit a little, but not being in the wild west that, oh, we'll try this, we'll try that, not going by gut as much as data,
hmm.
uh, letting go of the last 10% orders if it's not compliant. Being
Hmm.
very compliant. Food is not a regulated business, but has a bunch of compliance pieces to look at, safety and compliance. So I would say it reduces your flexibility a little.
And okay, if you reset it back to 5,
Yeah.
then what becomes 10 for you? At
Uh,
what point do you say that I think we've reached 10?
I think for listed companies, the benchmark is very, very clear, Rohin, where you are like a clean PAT, 10% PAT, double digit PAT,
You
delivering.
sort of become a boring business where you're growing
Yeah, and
regularly and
growing
your
regular. I
PAT is
think
10.
where there's a role of 40, right? The growth plus EBITDA is 40,
Hmm.
and a double digit PAT where cash flow positive, debt free.
Hmm.
My guess is that whenever we go public, it'll take 5 more years from there to get to that point.
Hmm. So that's now your long-term
Yeah, the
vision.
long term vision, if I have to tie in that to what my team would do,
Hmm.
is to be a 500 into 10. That would make this happen. 500 crores into 10 brands.
Got it. What's your style of working at Cure Foods?
Been same in Flipkart cult and here. Very casual, always on the floor. Like, always. Of course, I don't talk to 100 people on the floor, but 15 to 20 people I continuously chat with. Of course, I have a few direct reports, but I always take the
What has
liberty.
been that like over from Flipkart at its peak
Yeah,
to cult to now?
yeah.
What has been the maximum number of people that have
Flipkart was
reported to you?
madness. It was 14 people,
Got
6,
it.
15, 14, 15 also. Cult was 8 to 9. Here it's 6, been constant at 6.
Hmm.
I've kept it because they are also old timers. Many of them are at Flipkart cult Cure Foods, and most of them are
Hmm.
cult Cure Foods. So
Hmm.
they all have 7, 8 people each. But I I have a direct reporting team and then I have a leadership team.
Hmm.
My leadership team is 15 people, and I work with them as though they are my direct reports. So that flexibility I've always had, I would always want. I shouldn't feel
So I'm assuming that the 6 goes to 15 because the other 9 are in some senses they report to one of your 6.
one of the 6, yes.
Got it.
But I also think they're all, for example, if a Krispy Kreme head is reporting to Gokul, who is my COO, then given the importance of that category, I engage with Shashi or Siddharth very, very often. Like I just talk to them daily basis because I have a new idea. And because we're so flat, it's just 150 people, 3 floors in a Kormangla office, now moving to HSR. We have run out of that space now. So we figured that, just having casual, like having direct conversation. I will say, can I talk to you? And I just walk up to their desk and ask this question, and let's try this. What did you do? What happened when you tried this? So formal forum is there for a leadership team, but that is more like a update from all 15 of us on what we're doing. But we are a very informal organization where a lot of work gets done on the floor, just discussing new ideas and then say, okay, let's do this experiment, instrument it, report back the numbers to me in 7 days, whether it worked or not. So my style is very casual, very
How do you
casual.
plan your week then?
Oh, so Monday to Thursday, so Monday to Wednesday are a lot of these fortnightly meetings, business unit reviews, customer experience reviews, marketing reviews. So I would say out of the first 3 days of the week, at least half of the first 3 days is reviews, and Thursday is a lot of external meetings, and Friday is where we do all very long term meetings. Like the objective of the meeting would be how to become 40% offline share in 3 years. And there we
So the
discuss.
crazy long-term bets where
Yes,
because Friday, because you're all feeling more
I
relaxed.
feel more relaxed. My team could it's been my style for a very long time. Maybe Friday is not the best day. Maybe we should do it on Monday because that's the lowest orders day. But Monday is also a lot of pent up work.
I know people
Monday is
come to office
crazy.
after a
Yeah,
Sunday and
Monday
they're
is
never in
crazy.
that
Like
frame of mind.
I hate the energy in office on Monday because it's very pensive somehow. So I generally also try and get to office on Monday only by 12 when the so I sit here.
When it's burnt out a
Yeah,
little bit.
when because I don't want that negative pressure on me or my negative, because a lot of my Mondays are also bad because many of my investors also sometimes ask
Right
so many
over the
questions on Monday
weekend.
morning. I think 20-30% of my Monday mornings just go into talking to one of my investors because they had a new question, new idea, or something. So I prefer getting to work on Monday on 12 o'clock. While I'm already here, I am sitting in some cafe. I do that very often, where I get my Monday morning stuff get done in a cafe. So,
Got it. And do you actively try to manage your energy or your time during the week?
yeah. I try to not, given how strong my second line is in terms of operations and being in the game. If it's a solvable fire, I stay away from it because it really. Until cult, I would love to jump in it. Tell me what's wrong. I actually see that there's some chaos. I stay out of it because they know that I follow one principle that if it's bad news, it has to come to me. So if they still don't think it's bad news and they can solve it and it's solvable, I don't want to jump into it. My style until cult was like, tell me what's the issue, I will solve it for you. That really burns you out completely.
What caused that change? And for you to step back and saying
I think
sometimes
because,
getting involved is the bad thing.
yeah, I think maybe I would have learned that it's just not worth it. And maybe I would have learned that it makes it tougher for them. Like already chaotic situation, why add more chaos?
Got it. What's the culture at Cure Foods like?
If I have to define a word, I would say it's like very, very ownership driven. Because we've got 500 locations. each of the store manager also has to act like a owner, because very quick decisions have to be taken. Current example is the best, the LPG supply.
Hmm.
So every
Yeah.
so
How are you folks
yeah,
faring?
it has been a tough situation, but I'm very proud of how the team has handled. See, LPG was one thing which was never part of a central procurement. It was a regional procurement. Every city has six or seven government plus non-government providers. Total, Go Gas, Jyoti, they're all not
Yes.
government, and then BPCL, HPCL, and IOCL are government. So it was a very simple procurement, because rate is fixed by the government. So you don't need central. Every store manager has a schedule and a payment schedule, and it comes. And suddenly, when this happened, we
And
realized
obviously,
that
you've never had to think
and
about we
we
need
didn't
to.
know
Yeah.
we had no metrics around it. Like I couldn't have guessed how many LPG cylinders we use every day. Now, of course, there's a dashboard being shared every day, inventory, days in hand, etc. So this is where I realized what ownership. Yeah, like we centrally can't add any value. We have no idea. But 96% of my stores are running. 95% of my stores are running, which is basically only 18 stores are shut right now. And this is because those store managers do something every single day to get enough stock for next 2 days. So that's the basic culture. There is very like it's almost like the central team is almost like 150 people. So I would say 75 entrepreneurs there, but more so on the blue collar side, I would say everyone is an owner,
Hmm.
because a logistics manager. So we have about 32 vehicles plying every day, single
Hmm.
day, and that guy is going from Bangalore to Hyderabad, Delhi to Chandigarh, whatever is happening in that 6 hour route. Some police guy stopping, some spoilage, some storage issue. He has to take a call.
Hmm.
And I believe that that's the culture. How it manifests is it's a very hustle driven culture, because food is a very tough category. And like if I have to really advise people, I'll say you do it only if you really think you can do 18 hours, 6 days. While it's a 20-hour, 7 day business. Our kitchens are open from kitchens, while we serve from 7, but kitchens open at 5 and we serve till 12, we shut at 1. So the operation is a 20-hour operation. The establishment is open
Hmm.
20 hours, 7 days. And every day, even if 1% issue happens, 5 kitchens have some really bad issue.
Hmm.
So which is why I'm saying I don't get involved in anymore at all. Like we've defined the levels of code red, code yellow, code orange, everything, and
Hmm.
maybe code red is once a week. Right now, it's code red. Like LPG is a code red because on day two, which is Thursday last week, we had 30% kitchens which had zero supply next day. So then we had to like structurally figure out a management
Hmm.
solution.
Hmm.
So
Very interesting. I want to ask about talent and people. I mean, you said it's very entrepreneurial, it's very ownership driven, but I think it's also young, fairly.
yeah,
You
yeah,
have a
fairly
young
young.
workforce, right? And one of your earlier interviews, I think you said that you look for people with high intrinsics and a lot of
Yes,
intent.
yes, yes,
What are you looking for in this? Now, this is I
yes.
get intrinsic and intent, but how do you judge this? Give me a sense of a potential conversation with someone young that you're talking to that allows you to kind of judge that.
Learnability and ability to do hard work. To do hard work. So learnability is like uh, right now our revenue head for Krispy Kreme is my current chief of staff. So he always has a 70. So chief of staff work is 30% a week.
Hmm. Hmm.
He always is on a 70% project, and that's right now his Krispy Kreme revenue. His name is Ninad. For me, the biggest metric would be that if I give him this project in 30 days, is he the donut expert in India or not? Like
Hmm.
what is the best donut, why not, why it should be done this way. That for me shows intent, that if I'm given some task, then that person is willing to put everything at stake to become the expert there.
Hmm.
This is something which I had seen people at Flipkart do so well, and suddenly you realize that they've become experts at the best things. Like the Grow team right now, they are experts at the markets.
Hmm.
Same guys were running marketplace. And when I talk to them, like the way they talk about FNO, and like this is just so this is intrinsics. The product head at Grow, Vikas, was a product head at Flipkart, Cult, and Grow. So retail, fitness, and
Hmm.
markets. So this is exactly what I look for. If you given a challenge that okay, go become an expert at workouts, all these kids became expert at workouts. They became fitter. All of them could put in a 30 push-ups at one go, could do a 70-80 kg deadlift, not because they were trying to prove anyone anything. They wanted to learn whether this is the right customer experience.
What are the limits?
What are the limits for everything? So this is what for me is the most important thing, Rohan. And unfortunately, I am also on the other side of 40 now. Unfortunately, I don't know whether it's true or not, but at least in my experience, people on closer to 40, etc., they show lesser of that. A lot of preconceived notions, set ideas, etc. So I feel younger people have more ability to learn. They are more sponge-like, if I may. Second is hard work. I think that is physical limits of hard work. Like if you have to succeed, you have to improve your success, the surface area for your luck. That happens only with hard work. There is no other way. Because see, everyone says luck, this, that, but you got to be fully ready when luck is ready. And that happens when you just put in all those hours. There is no replacement for that. So today, why is Zomato so widely successful? I'm telling you, those people are a bunch of super hardworking guys. Like crazy what number of hours they can put in. And right from starting, like Dipinder has set that culture and very proud. I think he's very proud of the fact that like it's a very, very hardworking culture. And Flipkart was very hardworking and a very smart set of people. So that also is a very rare combination where like crazy IQ people with that many hours. So for me, hard work. So
it's almost like you make it sound like in the current context, it's like compute, right? If you throw enough NVIDIA high-end processors for enough number of weeks and months, it is going to come up with a protein which nobody has ever discovered.
Exactly. No, absolutely. So just to summarize, one line, someone who's willing to learn and put in hours. And that person can be anyone. Could be an intern or could be a
How do you
CXO.
judge this? But do you have any favorite interview conversations when you're meeting people for the first time? Just open-ended
So
conversations?
my interviews are generally over a walk. And I remember one of my friends asked me that, are you not putting people on a spot there? People may not be physically there. I was like, no, it's not that. It's just my way of putting them through some stress.
So they're not. There's one part of their brain which is I'm walking, therefore it just destabilizes them just a little
This
bit.
is a stress situation I'm
so
putting
that
them
it
in.
brings out
Yes.
authenticity and it can't be completely.
So this is my style of doing it. And of course, in the interviews, my favorite questions, Rohin, are mostly around when they think they did better than their peers in their org. So I only ask for 2-3 examples. I don't ask the mundane question. Like, give me a period in your career where you were outperforming your peers. And then what went well, what could have been better. Like, and you always, because that's...
What are you looking for? Self-reflection, authenticity,
No, I am looking
honesty?
for what is it that when you are in a purple patch, you can hit out of the park. What is it that someone will talk about, I onboarded 10x number of sellers than others. Someone will talk about my NPS was 2x better than other city. So then you ask why, and then you realize that this guy learned something more about the market or worked 2x harder.
Got it.
So
Last bit of questions about yourself.
yeah.
Let's start with books, which is where we started, where this entire journey started for you.
Yes,
in many ways at the Delhi Book
I'm so
Fair.
glad. I love books.
There was this year, I think it was 2016,
Yeah,
where you read some 80 books.
80 books. First year of Cult, we were a little lighter and also heavily inspired by Mukesh. I think he gets that much every year. So that was the highest ever. That was amazing. I wish I could do that.
Is there a book that you remember from those 80 books that like bubbled to the top of that list in that year?
I had read Cosmos many years back and probably had not not appreciated it. But I remember like Mukesh told me reread it. And I was just blown away. Like, because maybe I had more perspective in life and I read it very often. It just makes you like very vulnerable as a person. So Cosmos was the best book I read.
Got it. These days, how do you manage to find time to read?
I try to get 2 to 3 books a month. Otherwise, it'll be 3 books a month is the best, but 2 for sure. Like,
got it.
Been reading a lot about so I do one fiction, one non-fiction. Fiction is all Japanese right now. It's amazing. That literature is like completely undiscovered. I read this book called Butter recently. I can't tell you how good it was.
What is it?
It is a psychological thriller,
Hmm.
but it's mostly a lesson in psychology. It's a 600-page fat book, and
Hmm.
it's so slow where someone is interviewing a murderer and then flashback and flashback, but it is just a lesson in Japanese culture and human psychology. It's amazing. So
Got it.
it was a very slow book, but I managed to finish it on time. Then, of course, a lot about non-fiction is mostly around the AI chip, and
Hmm.
I was feeling very AI illiterate till January this year
Hmm.
because I couldn't find time to do it.
Hmm.
And then I picked up the regular list, which everyone is reading,
Hmm.
and I feel slightly better now. So
Hmm.
I read 5, 6, 7 books now.
Largely on the architecture of LLMs and
All like
inference.
what will AI do, what will it not do. So from narratives to slightly technical stuff and
Got
slightly
it.
history of. I also liked Jensen Huang's biography, which is
Hmm.
Thinking Machine.
Got
I
it.
love Chip War. So everything in that Chip War was really good.
Hmm.
So these are the books. But yeah, I managed to
How do
read.
you find the time? When do you read and how do you read?
I'm always reading. So I read on my phone, a Kindle app on phone. So when
Hmm.
I was coming here, I was reading. If I'm waiting for a meeting, so I read through
You
the day.
read most of your books on your phone. You read a 600 book,
Yes.
page book on
Yes.
your phone.
Yeah. The only
Wow.
exception is that what I do is if I have a flight, which is 7, 8 flights a month, so for that period, I buy both. So I always download the Kindle book on the phone app.
Hmm.
And if I'm traveling, then I also have the hard copy. So at least for 40-50% of my books, I always have the hard copy and the Kindle version both, because in the flight, I have no distraction. I love to read.
You have normal eyesight. You just hit 40, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huh? You don't wear
Yeah,
specs. Okay, so partly because I'm also trying to process, like, how do you continue to read so much
yeah,
from the screen?
yeah, I love to do that.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
So I'll tell you, I had a Kindle,
Hmm.
but I am poor at charging. Like which is why Whoop works for me,
It's
because it just comes on top of that the charger.
hmm.
So I reduce the number of devices I have because charging is a big issue for me. Yeah,
Got it. You're also a dad. Your
yeah,
son is 10.
10. His name is Kian.
His name is Kian. What let's stick with screens,
Yes.
right? You're reducing the number of screens. What's your philosophy with him and screens?
Oh, so yeah, one big surprise for us was when he was 7, he got specs and a
Hmm.
decent number.
Hmm.
And screens until then was just the online classes. So post that, he's a very disciplined kid purely because he's a sports kid. He plays badminton, trying to
Hmm.
be a professional, of course, very, very early days, but still.
Hmm.
So for him, screen is very, very regulated, 30 minutes a day and 45 to 50 minutes during the weekends.
Hmm.
And most of that he invests in sports. Like he's a huge F1 fan, huge cricket fan, watches F1 cricket and a little bit of badminton because he plays badminton. So he uses all of that time. If there's a big match, he would collect all those 30 minutes. And so for the week, it's almost like 4 hours kind of a thing for him, which he has to use the way he wants.
So that's great. But I must go back to your point about how are you still managing to read? Because, honestly, finding those bits and like, does that add up to like 3 books a month?
Yeah, easily, because even if I
I'm
get
sure
an
you don't
opportunity.
stay that far from you. Your office is in
So I live
Koramangala?
in Belendur, Koramangala, so 1 hour on the road.
Okay.
No, but I also read 45 minutes before I go to sleep. So that 45-minute chunk is there.
Are you doing that on the phone again?
Phone.
So that's not something that you solve for yet?
No,
Blue
no.
light,
No,
not to avoid
it is
screen.
a very dim
I got
screen,
it.
whatever
I
that
got it. That
is.
Apple's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I
Hmm.
am like, I can't do anything else. Like I would have loved to do. So why I've gone to this is hard copy. I would love to do hard copy
Hmm.
because my reading time is 45 minutes, which is way past my wife's bedtime.
Hmm.
So I can't be switching on the light then.
Okay.
That's why I started this during pandemic.
Hmm.
Before that, I was largely on physical books.
Got it. And are you one of those people who are just read the books and move on?
Yeah.
Or are you those people who make notes,
Oh, no
annotate,
notes.
etc.?
Read very fast, move on, and reflect maybe a few days later on
Hmm.
what you read. So
Hmm.
for me, it's like a productivity chore. It's almost like if I'm not doing anything, I'm just reading. So maybe it just keeps me stress free. Maybe it keeps my mind off stupid things. Like the
Hmm.
moment I have a phone, I'll check news. I'll check
Hmm.
WhatsApp.
Hmm.
Third app is Kindle because I'm not on Instagram. Yeah. Twitter is a big drain of time for me. I
Hmm.
spend a lot of time in Twitter. So at night, I am like switching between Twitter and Kindle so often.
Got it.
So
Again, that's probably because you're using the same device
yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah,
but I'm sure you'll arrive at that
yeah.
decision on your own time whether
Yes,
to
yes.
stay on Twitter or not.
Yeah, Twitter is now mostly my reading now. I don't
Hmm.
tweet much now.
Got it.
There was a time when like it was fun tweeting. There was a good group of people who were the original Twitter
Free Elon
guys.
Musk takeover of
No, no,
like,
I'm talking
XT
about
because the
2012, 13,
algorithms.
14.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that time
Got
there's
it.
saying. So during my youth pad days, I was
Hmm.
one of the first few people to join Twitter.
Got it.
I was at 10,000 followers in 2010, which was amongst the top then. And
Got it.
all the followers were like cool Twitter Janta, right? Now, though, it's gone.
Yeah. All right. What's your own fitness routine like?
So, sports continues to be a part of a lot of my fitness thing journey. Play badminton two, 3 times a week. I do yoga. That's a new discovery. I had a back injury, and to recover from that, I thought yoga was the best thing, and it stuck. And the last thing which I do is weight training. So, split it into 2 to 3 days of each of those. So, 6 to 7 days of workout every day, every week. So,
Got it. And considering that you're in the food business,
yes.
I must ask you, what's your personal, like, favorite foods?
Favorite foods, though, of course, a very big fan of Indian food and lately Japanese food. I'm a vegetarian, but I love the vegetarian
Yeah.
Japanese food which I can get. Indian restaurants do a good job of Japanese Indian food as
Well,
well.
they must, because if
Yes,
you're
yes,
operating in
yes.
India, then you must
Yeah,
cater to.
so love that because my wife is such a big fan, so I also took to it. I love to try out a lot of new food, like anyone else.
Hmm.
But of course, the favorite is like just the Indian home curries, not the outside curries. They are very heavy. But like anything that
Full circle, huh? You're
uh,
also coming back to home cooked
yeah,
curries and food.
yeah, because like the basic aloo ka sabzi, not like what you get in a restaurant,
I
right?
get it. I
Very
get it.
heavy. Also because I try to eat gluten-free food
Hmm.
and I also try to stay off sugar as much as possible. So it reduces the universe of things I can eat.
Got it. What kind of a dad are you?
I am a sports dad. Most of my engagement with
I
my son.
noticed the badminton connection. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
assuming your
So I
son picked it up
am
from you.
like a fully a sports dad. We engage on sports a lot. So I take him Saturday, Sundays. Saturdays I'm half day working, but Sunday, so I take him in the morning to his academy. Then I come to work sometimes, and then Sundays is full day with him because he has some tournament or something. So till 3 p.m. morning to 3 p.m. with him in the sports place. Plus also most of our viewing together is sports.
Hmm.
So built a lot of camaraderie and my wife, of course, does not love sport as much. While me and my wife run a sports
Kanika, your
foundation,
wife's name is
Kanika,
Kanika.
and we run a sports foundation. I'll talk about it. But me and my son also travel for matches. So World Cup matches.
Also, you're also a sports helicopter
Yeah,
parent, sort of.
we love to. So IPL though is our favorite time in life. We'll go for a few games at Chinnaswamy. It's the best
Hmm.
time pass for us. So I would say, and also I am the disciplined person in general because I'm disciplined. I think he gets to see that side, and if any disciplining is needed while he does not require much himself, then I am the guy. Like my wife, I'm the bad cop, but I'm not bad cop. I'm more like a
Got it.
disciplined cop. So yeah. My also we run a foundation which is called Simply Sport Foundation. We run grassroots. We help grassroots athletes. We have a very large list of athletes whom we help, almost like 1,000 odd athletes, but at a small level across sports. So I don't actively run it. My wife also spends some time with it. But we have a full team which runs it, and the aim is to like support as many grassroots athletes as possible because we've got OGQ and Go Sport at the highest level, and then we've got the top scheme by the government, which is the Olympic podium scheme. So that takes care of the top 500 athletes.
Hmm.
What about the next 50,000, which are who are playing national games? So about, if I'm not wrong, about 25,000 players play national level pay sports in India, and these 500 people are. I'm talking non-cricket. Uh, Top 500 is supported by something or the other, but to get into that top 500, there's very little support right now. Of course, SAI centers across the countries are doing well, but to be able to support
That's the
them,
Sports Authority of India.
yes, yes, they're doing well. The sports infrastructure has definitely improved in the country in the last 7 8 years. Also because better results gives you more drive, etc. So we are right now supporting 1,000 odd athletes across these 50,000, and hopefully through more tech and more reach, we can reach 5,000 people. So aim is to make it easier for these 50,000 people to get to that 500, because life changes for you if you're in that 500. You'll be rich. But this 50,000 people, it's 0 or 1 for them. Like 90% of this 50,000 people will go to a 25,000 a month job. So,
All right. Last question.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with your life?
I think I'm at 8 right now. Also because like when I do my manifestation, etc., I realize that on the work front, the kind of opportunities that I've gotten is insane, right? I think very, very rare that people get those many different opportunities. And also the kind of investments I've made and the opportunity that I get to engage with those entrepreneurs, like very fulfilling. Very happy with the foundation work that we're doing. So work-wise, very sorted. I would love to spend some more time with my son, and would want to, of course, me and my wife find hacks to spend time with each other, but some more time with my son because he's growing so fast. Like he's already 10. Like time just flies, and one realizes that I think 5-6 more years of togetherness, then it'll be sporadic, college, sab kuch. And 1 point lesser for that, and 1 point because I think I don't get enough time for myself. Because weekends I don't want to miss out on my family. So if I can get 1 hour a day more with myself, I'll be very happy.
What would you do with that? Say you did.
I would do 20-30 minutes of more sleep. Sleep is the most neglected thing because I love to read. 2 days back, I just got into a very
What do
interesting.
you average on sleep?
Bad. 5 hours, 30 minutes.
That's less. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I interrupted you when you said
Yeah.
2 days back. You
So I got so hooked to a book, I read till 1. And that's bad. Like I have to. So
you must have felt it the next day.
Yeah,
now.
it was bad. And I'm saying that I'm very happy that it does not happen to me for content or just doom scrolling. But for me, reading becomes that. I just get so hooked. And I
What
knew
was that book?
it was a new book on some video gaming guys. Very good book. I forget the name of the book very often. It's a fiction about 3 guys who founded a video gaming company. Amazing book.
Japanese or no?
No, not American. I'll
Got
tell you right after the interview, after our podcast. So
Interesting.
it's very
and you
interesting.
used the word manifestation earlier. What was that like? Do you meditate? Do you?
Oh yeah. So I meditate in the morning where I just imagine good things. So,
How long?
3 to 5 minutes, easy.
Oh.
Yeah, breathing, 5 to 8 minutes. Breathing, thinking deeply, thanking for good things.
When did you start doing that?
As part of my yoga. When I started yoga, then I got discovered.
So
Otherwise,
like second order benefits of.
yeah. So yoga is like you start with stretching, then you do this, end with manifestation. So.
Interesting. Thank you so much.
My
Ankit.
pleasure.
Such a wonderful chat.
No,
I'm
it
so
was a
glad
great
we
chat.
met.
We covered quite a few topics, and many of these things I've never spoken about. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Great.
If you've been a long-time listener to this podcast and are glad we're back, do tell the world by sharing this episode with everyone you think will find it valuable. Produced by Uddantika Kashyap and mixed and mastered by the wonderful Rajiv CN, our resident sound engineer. This is me, Rohin Dharmakumar, signing off. We'll be back soon with another episode.